It was like a punch to the gut. I just wanted to get home. It had been years since I'd had any desire to return to Napa. I normally flew in and out quickly for the holidays and encouraged my family to come visit me in Chicago as often as possible. Home held too many painful memories that I normally dreaded. But right now, I didn't care about any of that. I just needed to be with my mom. We'll figure it out. Hopefully, the surgery happens soon, and she'll be good to go in a few weeks, Charlie said. He was hopeful. I was a bit more realistic. I'd read a lot about what my mom was about to go through. This wasn't going to be a sprint. It would be more like a marathon. I'd know more once I got there. I'd spent the last 48 hours taking care of everything here because I didn't know how long I'd be gone. Yep, and I'll FaceTime you tonight when I get there. Sounds good. You ready? He reached for my bags and we trekked out to the car. I'd have a few hours on the flight to think about everything, as I hadn't had much time to process this. I couldn't wrap my head around it. My mom was one of the healthiest people I knew. This came out of left field. And I'd be back home. The place I'd been raised, where my heart had crumbled into a million little pieces. I'd most likely have to see Harrison Montgomery. Charlie knew I had an ex-boyfriend back home, but that didn't begin to describe what Harrison had been to me. How do you tell your fiancé that your ex-boyfriend was also your best friend, your soulmate, your first and last, everything? Sure, I'd moved on, and I'd found my own happily ever after with Charlie. My feelings for Harrison Montgomery were in the past, and that's exactly where they needed to stay. I ran into Monica Montgomery at the market, Mom said, pausing to pass me the salad as we all sat around the farmhouse table we'd had for as long as I could remember. How is she? I haven't seen her in a while. Dad refilled my wine glass and winked. She's well. I told her what was going on and that you'd insisted on coming home to help me through this. What did she say? I asked quietly. Monica, Harrison's mother, had been like a second mom to me growing up, but I'd cut ties with all the Montgomerys when Harrison and I broke up. Hell, I'd cut ties with this whole town. The Montgomerys were everywhere. 3 brothers that oozed charm and charisma, and everyone wanted to know them. It had always been Harrison and me from as early as I could remember. We were the best of friends, and then we fell madly in love. I'd never existed in Napa without him by my side. But grief could be a cruel mistress, and people changed. I'd received a front-row seat to that life lesson. Well, I told her you were taking a leave from work, but that you were hoping to find something temporary here. Mom paused to sip her water. She said they were overwhelmed right now with all the events at the winery, and she could use the help if you're open to it. I took my time chewing my food. Seriously? Of course, I loved Monica, and I'd practically grown up at the Montgomery Vineyard. Hell, I lost my virginity out in the barn on their property. But I assumed Harrison spent a lot of time at the winery. At least, that had always been his plan, to take over at some point. And seeing him again daily would be difficult. Impossible. My family didn't know just how bad things had ended between us. We'd never spoken much again outside of an awkward run-in during one of the short stints when I was home. No. Harrison turned his back on me. He was a wound I had no desire to reopen. Well, I was planning to stop by a few places for possible jobs tomorrow when we get home, but I'll keep it in mind. Honey, this is as good as it gets. It's temporary, and she'll work around your schedule and my treatment.